get it firing up here, you know?
So should I be recording this then?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't even bother recording the pre-roll. I mean, I record it, like, the entire thing for the video preview, which I didn't even do last week because I was so fucking busy. Those will be on an as I'm able to get them done basis, I think.
Gotcha.
Let's see where that Twitch audience at. Come and play with the sauce. He is waiting for you. He is mighty saucy too. Actually, no, I don't even record this part. I record the actual main show on OBS. I don't even record this part. This just goes out live to the Twitch audience that might be tuning in and might be watching. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen that might be watching. We got rid of Justin for the evening.
Justin was very
welcome.
vague as to why he could not record. He was just like, I can't record. And so
he's probably I don't know. I saw him drink a beer this weekend, so he must be doing extra gym time.
My guess is that he didn't watch the movie over the weekend and then realized that he couldn't in any way after work watch the movie and then
How did he not watch it in Dolby Vision?
I don't know. He owns it. He was going to invite me over to watch it, but I took a trip to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is where I am right now, to visit my sister and help my mom move into her new place.
Oh, that's fun.
So I'm in a change of location right now, and I'm a bit under duress because I don't have my usual podcasting recording equipment, but I'm making it work.
You've just got me here and Jared Taylor. Jared's in the chat. Welcome, Jared. And Daniel, who's playing Warzone right now, but then he'll come and hang out when he's done. Thank you both for showing up. Welcome. Good to see both of you here. And I don't really know much in terms of what to do in pre-roll, because I know, and I want to get it out in front of me. It's kind of good that Justin's not here because he wouldn't really be able to be part of this conversation anyway. But I know you were a huge fan of Glee back in its day, and I was a huge fan of Glee back in its day. Also hated it a lot because it's Glee. And that's what you did with Glee.
Ups and downs, we'll just say.
It definitely does, but they confirmed today, unfortunately, that Naya Rivera's body was found in Lake Piru in California, which, I mean,
unbelievably tragic.
Just the fact that the fact that she died, literally, helping her son onto the boat. And that's their best working theory at this point, was that the boat was drifting away, and based on what her son said, that she pushed him up onto the boat, she put him up onto the boat, and when he turned around, she was gone. I mean, that's just heart-wrenching in ways that I don't really know how to verbalize appropriately. I will literally never be able to watch Glee again. I will literally never be able to sit through it again, ever. There's no way. I mean, with Corey, of course, who 7 years ago today, which is eerie and really spooky, and we won't talk about Mark sailing. we won't talk about Puck, but then of course now with Naya, like how would you even, like, if you even tried to sit down for a rewatch, how would you even do it?
I mean, that is a very good question. It would be incredibly emotional for a number of reasons. People are sharing, at one point in the show, Naya's character, she did a cover of "If I Die Young" by the band Perry, and
which was lyrics, the episode that was the quarterback, that was the Corey tribute.
Right. So there's a lot of spooky stuff throughout the show. with concerning Corey Monteith's character when I did my last rewatch that I noticed. Um, Especially concerning his character, the way he was written, he had a whole backstory where his father died of a drug overdose, and there's this one episode where he says, "I'm not going to turn out that way. I'm not going to end up like my father did."
Yep.
And then that's exactly what happened to him in real life. Season 4 ended with him. His character after graduating high school is very directionless. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He tries a whole bunch of different things. He tries going to the army, that doesn't work out, etc. But at the end of season 4, he's like, I finally have a direction in life. I know what I want to do. I'm going to go back and teach the Glee Club.
Yep.
And it was kind of setting up that he was going to be a replacement for Mr. Schuester.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, that never came to be because tragically that was cut short. So rewatching the show with yet another tragically passed main actor is just it's a lot to bear, and you'd have to emotionally prepare yourself for sure.
Yeah.
But Naya Rivera was such a bright spot on the show.
Yeah.
She just brought this fiery energy. Her character was so ruthless, but she also had this very sensitive side to her.
Yep.
And she just brought such a joy and a zest and just like that, like I said, that fiery energy to the cast that was so welcome, especially in the later seasons. So what can I say? It's just so unbelievably sad.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where and I try, and you know this about me and anybody that's watching. Gerald, welcome. Christine, you welcome. But you know how I am. I try to very generally be very very positive. But I about lost my damn mind on Twitter over the last like 4 or 5 days. Like I've been avoiding social media as much as possible. No, like these days I've been hardcore trying to stay away from it as much as I possibly can. But as soon as like on Wednesday when they announced that she disappeared, I had been glued to social media, just waiting for any kind of updates from the Ventura County Sheriff's Department and the search and rescue teams that were out there combing through, what is literally a man-made lake. It was made 20 years ago, and so the bottom of it is very, very murky. It's filled with debris. It's got all these whirlpools and cold spots and all this different stuff
Vegetation.
and vegetation and everything. And so when she disappeared, I mean, and I think I shared it even on that Wednesday that it was basically a foregone conclusion. I mean, basically once those kind of things happen, I mean, unfortunately, when they moved it, even like as of the next day, they moved it to a recovery mission because that's basically what those kinds of situations usually end up being. Everybody wanted the miraculous outcome here, but it's one of those things that you just kind of knew. But holy shit, is Twitter. And Twitter and Facebook are equal parts insufferable, but I didn't really follow the news on Facebook, but Twitter was insufferable during all of this. The number of armchair search and rescue experts that popped out of the woodwork on Twitter to criticize the sheriff's department, to criticize the search and rescue teams that weren't searching enough, that were sure, a psychic said that she wandered out of the water and was hiding out in a cabin up on the mountain away from the lake, and all these different things, like literally bombarding the sheriff's department with endless tweets about how terrible of a job they're doing, how they're not doing enough work. Let Glee fans, and like Heather Morris, who, played Brittany on the show, which of course was married to her character Santana. Heather Morris wanted to bring like a small search party out there, and like I understand like that you care and that you're concerned, but it's rugged terrain. You're not search and rescue professionals, and literally you slip and fall down a bank, and then that's search and rescue teams that have to be diverted to come and rescue you, or you even get sucked under and you're dead. You know, so it's like legitimately losing my mind at legitimately Glee fans online, and Glee's got one of those really insanely toxic fan bases, or it can, and they showed their true colors. They bullied Leah Michelle straight up off of Twitter by telling her that she's the one that should have died instead. Like,
Yeah, that's screwed up.
mystifying, man. Like,
And also the people who were criticizing Naya, and all these conspiracy theorists coming out of the woodwork saying that it was like a suicide. And I don't know what kind of demented mother would commit suicide in front of her
Who
son, her 4-year-old son.
adored her son,
Yeah,
adored him.
so I think that those conspiracy theories are in very bad faith indeed, and
Oh,
it's just it adds a whole level of shit to this very tragic situation. Um, Apparently, the young son uh, gave like this testimony, not testimony, but he basically explained from his perspective what happened, that
yeah,
she pushed him onto the boat and she just never came out of the water. So
yeah,
um, we don't, I mean, I don't know what happened for sure. I don't know if anyone does. Um, but either way, it's just,
yeah.
I'm speechless. So
It's
rest in peace,
horribly,
Naya Rivera.
horribly
And I
tragic.
just feel bad for her son, who's now going to have to grow up without a mother.
Yeah,
Um, and live with the memory of that.
yeah. And I mean, it's just, you know, it's just the show meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. It got me through a really, and I think a lot of people have that story too. But it got me through a really, really tough part of my life. It really, really did. And when I watched it not too long ago, not terribly long ago, because I did a full retrospective of it with Ashley on Rabbit Ears, and that was I think it was like right after Mark had died. Well, died is he killed himself because he was going to go to jail for child pornography, so like, we can't gloss over that fact. But I think it was like right after that fact, and like even that rewatch. Well, granted, I cherry picked. Once you get sort of into the third season and beyond, you got to start cherry picking episodes because Glee became very preachy, and also it had no narrative sense of direction whatsoever from season 4 on. It literally had no idea what it was doing.
Really, I'd argue from season 2 on,
I
but
mean, fair,
but
fair.
I think you're right in that the show, it kind of seemed like they had um, no sense of arc for the season, let alone the end game for the show. I
Yeah,
imagine Corey's death had a lot to do with that because I know they had plans for his character, but it just seemed like each episode um,
it was an after school
didn't.
special. Basically, it
Yeah,
devolved into weekly after school specials.
yeah, where it was like trying to be topical with what was going on in current events and like pop culture trends and things like that.
Was trying to
Um,
be, but most of the time it felt really pandering whenever it did because it was really trying hard to do it.
Pandering with no connective tissue from one episode to the next.
Yep.
Oftentimes, like it seems like the writers just hit the reset button when they didn't like a certain uh, like direction a plotline was going. They would just like hope the
Yeah.
audience would forget about it, which made the show so frustrating. But at the same time, like I've always said, that Glee at its best was glorious
Absolutely amazing.
and life saving potentially, and at its worst, it's horribly horribly offensive. So it was never boring because you never knew what you were going to get from one episode to the next. Um, and also there was just a certain sense of comfort I would get from it. Like season 1 premiered when I was a sophomore or junior in high school, which was
Mm-hmm.
around the time where I was doing things like show choir and drama club
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So the show really hit a chord with me based on the excellent first season.
Yeah.
And I stuck with the show to the very end through the good and the bad, and it kind of became a sense of sort of a sense of shame for me because I had to like defend a show that I knew was awful. But it did bring me a sense of comfort, and it brought me a sense of routine, which is something that I was lacking in college. Which that was in season 3 when I attended college, and I had a really rough time in college. So it really did help me, and it's going to be unimaginable trying to uh, emotionally prepare myself for any kind of rewatch in the future. I have the complete series on Blu-ray and DVD, but it's
Yeah.
just like it's just so
It kind of
sad.
became in the later seasons, especially because when they split they had half of the kids in the first 3 seasons. They graduated at the end of season 3, but then the show had no idea how to progress forward from there. And it's like, here's all these new kids in the Glee Club, but we're not going to focus any time on them, and we're going to show you what all the old kids are up to. But we're still going to show you what the new kids are up to. But we're still like they either should have broken it up into 2 shows, or B just follow the kids that we care about already, or Or be ballsy, Ryan Murphy. Be ballsy and just write out all the old cast members and then make us get attached to the new ones the way we got attached to the old ones. But they wanted to
I
have their
think what
cake
they
and eat it too.
I think what their mistake was uh, trying to replicate the personalities
Oh
and the
yeah.
archetypes of the old characters.
Yep.
It was so frustrating in season 6 when you had actually interesting new Glee Club members come in, like Roderick and Samantha Ware's character. Um, Come in and you were like, I actually like these people a lot. And then there were only 13 episodes in the season and they were trying to wrap up everyone else's story that you never even got to really know
Yeah.
them. So it's just the show suffered from, and I like just a general sense of what do we do?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of that had to do with circumstances that were beyond their control. A lot of it had to do with Ryan Murphy um, seemingly always starting off a show really strong and then just kind of meandering and fizzling out. And in a lot of cases, he would just like leave the writer's room and
Yeah, because
just not.
he's an ideas guy, so he would concept the show. He would come up with the concept. He would stick around and get it, to pilot and get it through the first season or two, and then he goes off. And I think that was when he left to go create American Horror Story. And then after that, he turns it over to a new showrunner who, and I think the problem is that it eventually turned into what I hate about bad musical movies, in that the only thing you care about is the musical numbers. You literally only tune in because you just want to see what musical numbers they're going to do. The musical numbers were always really nice for the most part, but by and large, like the rest of them, like you just
Again,
didn't
except
care.
when they tried to piggyback off of trends, like when they sang "What Does the Fox Say" for no reason, um, which is a viral song that is irrelevant now. So then when you watch the episode, you're like, why are they singing this? So it's just like such a mixed bag because again, at times the songs that they chose informed the characters, informed the story, and at other times it was just like it was pandering. You use that word that is so fitting for the show,
Yeah.
but then you also get like moments of sheer hilarity. You get moments of like absolute anguish and heartbreak and emotional.
It's because you love these characters in the end, and I think when you talk about season one, like season one is absolutely excellent, and it's kind of that reason that you carry through. Like you'll put up with really shitty episodes, really badly written episodes, like the school shooting
really shitty
episode,
episodes.
or like any number of other episodes that are really, really, questionable in the run. But it's because you really, really cared about these characters, and it was because of a Corey or because of a Naya and just amazing performances from head to toe, on a great ensemble cast. That, I mean, like I said, it's sad whenever you see somebody that's that young and that talented get tragically just ripped away from life, ripped away from her child who's 4 years old and now has to grow up without a mother. And I mean, you think of all and I can't speak for this experience, but like what her character, what Santana as a character meant to so many, LGBTQ, people out there, because she was, I think, one of, if not the first, like female Latina, like out and proud characters on television, you know? And then they had like the whole arc with her and Brittany getting married and all that kind of stuff. With same-sex marriage was such a hot button issue back when the show was first airing. Like,
Yeah, people forget how revolutionary that show was in depicting queer characters.
yeah, oh yeah,
You have Kurt, who I think is um, the first out gay high school character on a major network primetime TV show, which is huge. So, me coming to terms with my own sexuality when watching the show, and what that must have meant for people all over the world.
yeah.
So the show does have its fan base, and it sometimes is a very obnoxious fan base or
Oh,
a very toxic fan base. Um, but those fans became endeared to the show because of the strides that it took, because of the representation it had. It wasn't always the best representation, but it was representation nonetheless, and it meant a lot to people. So, I mean, we just have to look back on the show, warts and all, and look at the good it gave us and all the amazing performances that Naya Rivera gave on the show, in
Which
terms
there
of
were
the
a lot
musical
of.
numbers,
So
the
many.
musical numbers, and her performance in terms of portraying the character and conveying the
Yeah.
conveying the character. So I don't know. It's just so horrible to
It's
think about.
heartbreaking. I mean, it's I just people, and you talk about, people are reposting, the clip of her singing "If I Die Young," which again was from the. I would be on the floor, like doubled over, just sobbing if I watched that. Like, I'm already like that when I watch that episode anyway. Like, that episode anyway, like by itself, is legitimately probably one of the hardest hours of television I have ever had to watch in my entire life. It is
Mm-hmm.
gut wrenching, but
Because they're not acting is the thing.
no.
Like they're
And
not.
then
It,
now, even with that extra layer onto it, even there, and I mean, even, for all of Mark's faults, and we don't want to excuse the kiddie porn, but for all of Mark's faults, there's, he has a touching scene where he sings a song to Finn in that as well. Which, it's just, you know, like, I made a joke about it, and I mean, I know it's a silly joke or whatever. People, and here's the thing, people, don't gatekeep how other people deal with grief and tragedy, as long as they're being respectful enough. Like, some people are making like a joke, like I made a joke, like, can we bubble wrap the rest of the Glee cast? Like, a lot of people are talking about that. Like, can we like protect them all? Can we like enshrine them in like a sanctuary somewhere where they can't be hurt or anything? Like, I know it's a silly joke and whatnot, but like that's another big problem that I have, and it's not just with this. I mean, we also, Kelly Preston just passed away, just lost a battle with
oh
breast
yeah,
cancer after 2 years. John Travolta's wife, who, I mean, it's just, don't gatekeep how other people, if they're being respectful, like, that's the only thing that really matters. As long as they're being respectful, don't gatekeep how other people deal with emotions and how other people deal with grief and how other people mourn the passing. Now, if they're spreading, like you were talking about, like if they're spreading like conspiracy theories, or if they're just straight up
the
online,
Glee curse.
there are
Yeah,
people online legitimately like spamming the number for the FBI, saying the Ventura County Sheriff's Department isn't doing enough. Call the FBI, and everybody's like, this not a criminal case. It has nothing to do. The FBI has no jurisdiction. All you're going to do is harass the people at the FBI. And you're getting a bunch of like 15-year-olds bombarding the FBI with phone calls being like, go find her, they're not doing anything. Like, it's so frustrating. It's
yeah,
so frustrating to see, people just not being patient. And I think it's just, and I don't want to call people ignorant, but it comes from ignorance, like people not understanding what happens in a drowning death, what happens in a situation like this where somebody drowns. I mean, unfortunately, especially in water that's as low visibility, as murky, as full of vegetation as this is, bodies, when they drown, bodies sink to the bottom. And then it's not until days later, when they start decomposing and, start bloating with gases and stuff, which is disgusting stuff, that they then rise back to the surface, which is how they found her.
mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that they found her, is because she ended up floating back up to the surface. It's just, people just need to learn how to be patient and not harass search and rescue officials who are literally working as hard as they can, hundreds of people combing the lake, they literally for days, trying to do everything, and they just like literally just got like hundreds of people on Twitter bombarding them, telling them how worthless they are and how terrible of a job they're doing. It's like, I know people are upset and I know people are emotional about it, but it's like, you've got to just chill. you know
Yeah,
you've got to just step back. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a 4-year-old boy who doesn't have a mother anymore.
yeah.
Like, I know that you are hurting. I know that, like, I was a huge fan of Glee. Like, I'm like terribly heartsick about it. It breaks my heart. It absolutely destroys me. But like, there's a 4-year-old boy who doesn't have a mother anymore. Like, stop posting a fucking grainy video from something of like, oh, that's definitely her crouching behind that rock right there. Like, stop it. Just
Yeah.
stop. You know, like at the end of the day, you've got to have enough respect, and but don't at the same time, like don't like people are like complaining because people are posting online like oh my god, I can't believe Santana, oh my god, and it's like people are like screaming at them like don't know her name's Naya, don't call her Santana. It's like to a lot of people she was Santana, and to a lot of people Santana meant a lot and like changed their lives and like helped them through really dark periods in their lives. If that's how they remember her, like she was really proud of that character. She loved playing that character.
It's once again, it's Twitter users just thinking that they're on a higher level, a higher plane of morality than everyone else.
Yeah.
And it just, I think you make a great point about how people, I saw a lot of tweets about like, don't you dare call her Santana. She was a human being. Call her by her name.
Exactly.
It's like, don't tell people what to do.
It's like
You
these
know what I
people
mean?
they're not being disrespectful, but obviously it's what she's known best from by far. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no question that was the show that broke her out completely. And like I said, that's a lot of people connected with that character. That character meant a lot to a lot of people. You know, if that's how they remember her, like I said, she was proud of that character. She loved playing that character. Like, is
Yeah.
that such a bad thing to do to honor her memory by remembering her playing that character? Like, I don't know. I don't. It's just it's so terribly tragic. I that's the headspace that I keep going to, and it's like I think about the tragedy of it, and I think about the and he's only 4, and I mean in some way you can try to take away some little silver lining of he's not really super like old enough and mature enough to really 100% understand in that moment. I'm sure he understands now that people have talked to him about it, but like probably in that moment, on the boat, like maybe it didn't register with him or whatever, but like I'm haunted by that, like just the idea of that image, like put like her pushing him up onto the boat,
Yeah.
and then like literally he turns around and she just is gone. Like what do
Yeah.
you think when you're a little boy in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's just it's heart-wrenching. It's absolutely heart-wrenching. Winners welcome. Patrick Sherwood welcome. I worked directly next door to all those kids for years. She and Corey were always the kindest. Yeah,
Oh.
and plus Kelly Preston. Yeah, fuck cancer. It's just it's just don't gatekeep how other people, if they're being respectful, and that's the main thing, if they're being respectful, if people want to honor her because that character meant a lot to her, or like some people probably know her from Devious Maids and some people probably know her from whatever, like or just her music or whatever the case may be, don't, like, if they're honoring her life, if they're heart sick about it too, if they're you know in pain, and sending out their love to her family and her close friends that are obviously way more affected by it than any of us could be, like, don't gatekeep the way people feel about things. Like, I get, like, I was really, like I said, really angry with all these people that were like berating the sheriff's department, but like, them aside, like, stop, don't gatekeep how people feel. you know
Yeah.
it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. Let people be saddened by it. Let people honor her memory in the best way that they can. If that's through saying Santana Lopez was a great character and meant so much to me, here's my favorite performance that she did on Glee, awesome, keep sharing it. you know Put her face out there fucking everywhere. I mean, in all for everything, at the end of the day, she died a hero. Like, she really, really did. I mean, what they think happened is they just think the boat, and it's happened on this lake and it happens on other lakes where the boat was not anchored. They think it was drifting away, and that she literally swam to the boat to put him on it and just didn't have the energy left to pull herself up to the boat. Which, you know, I mean, that's also, make sure you wear your life vests, kids. Don't forget to wear your life jackets. It's just it's such a terrible, terrible tragedy. And rest in peace Naya Rivera. Rest in peace Kelly Preston. And Elvis's grandson, I don't even know anything about him other than he was Elvis's grandson, but I saw he died, what, today or yesterday or something like that. Like,
2020 is just truly the most nightmarish timeline.
it is, yeah, beyond the darkest timeline. We've transcended the darkest timeline at this point.
Well, in other news, to move on to a lighter note,
Justin's
and
not here, guys.
Well, Justin's not here, so he can talk about this announcement today, the Friday the 13th Blu-ray collection that Scream Factory is releasing. This deluxe edition 16 disc set. You have all 12 Friday the 13th
That's why
films.
he's not here.
I know.
That's why he's not here,
Well,
because he's got an
he
erection so hard and so throbbing, he probably can't stand up.
he had to he had to contact his doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But because his throbbing erection wouldn't go down. But the we were texting back and forth earlier in the day because this broke the internet. Like we were trying to access the website in order to pre-order it because when something like this gets announced, who do you think are the first two people who are going to jump at the chance? It's me and Justin. So we were like trying to log on to the website and it had completely crashed the website. So we were frantically like, "Did you get it yet? Like, did you get on the screen yet?" And we both snagged a copy of this beautiful, beautiful set. But it's a huge deal for horror fans. Number one, because you have 4K scans of 1 through 4, the first 4 Friday the 13th movies, which Justin is complaining the fact that they're not actual 4K Ultra HD discs. I
Winners.
don't care either way because listen, it's the Friday the 13th movies. All of them look like shit. Like there's really no getting past it. I can't imagine that a 4K Ultra HD version of Friday the 13th would be worth it for the studio to even release. Um, we all know that Scream Factory, Shout Factory releases have been slow to the jump on 4K releases anyway. But the fact that they restored the films anyway was good enough for me, and I guess good enough for Justin because he bought it either way.
Well,
But
yeah,
you
so
have
now when they do the actual 4K discs or whatever, then he can buy those too.
again, yeah. Oh my goodness. But then, yeah, so you have the theatrical and uncut versions of the original Friday the 13th. You have the 2D and 3D versions of Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, this is a huge deal. Even though Justin doesn't own a 3D TV, I don't know anyone who owns a 3D TV except for a couple people. But it's a big deal because what they included in the past was the red and blue anaglyph 3D. It wasn't like the proper
Right.
retro. What do you call it?
Don't most newer
Uh,
TVs have like a 3D option, or you can do like a pseudo 3D kind of thing with it? Or it's not exactly like a 3D TV, 3D TV. Remember when they were a thing for like 4 months?
3D TVs. Yeah,
Yeah.
my ex had one, and we would watch 3D movies on it occasionally. But anyway, they're including a version that you can watch on a 3D TV, which is a huge deal because it was only available in that god awful, headache-inducing, uh, cardboard red and blue glasses 3D. So the fact that they're including that is very welcome indeed. We have new special features. It has 2 discs packed full of special features in case you didn't have enough information about the making of the franchise. You have a 2K scan of Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, which is well, it's a masterpiece of entertainment. But you have the theatrical and unrated versions of that. The unrated version previously was not released on Blu-ray. So this is a pretty comprehensive set. And so for Friday the 13th fans such as me and Justin, it was a pretty special. We're both very excited today about the announcement of this. So we'll see. We'll see how it looks. It looks like each film is going to have its own case, so it'll probably take up like this much of your bookshelf or your DVD shelf.
Jesus.
But I like the effort. You know, they really put in a lot of effort to make this the definitive set for fans. So I know you could care less about Friday the 13th movies in general and home video releases especially,
It's
but
funny. Chris Yaney just said the
we should
same
mention
thing
it
over
on the
there in the
show.
chat. Yeah, Chris just mentioned that over in the chat. As Nick starts to fall asleep, never seeing anything in the horror genre. Jason Goes to Hell is a masterpiece of flaming garbage, says Jared Taylor. Justin
He's
Winters
not.
says worst Jason by far.
I mean, the thing about Jason Goes to Hell is that it's not a Friday the 13th movie in any sense. It does not connect to the rest of the series at all. I mean, it does in the sense that Jason Voorhees exists in the movie, but that's about it. It's not your typical slasher, and Jason Voorhees uh, isn't doing the killing technically. I guess he is technically, but it's like his soul transferring from one body to the next. It's like his soul requires human hosts to kill, apparently. I don't know. It's nonsense. And but it does feature the most erotic shaving sequence in cinematic history.
Hot.
But
Is
yeah,
that what I'm
it
looking for?
is.
That's what I'm looking for. Okay, I was looking for a file to get it added to the soundboard here, just so I can play it special for everybody in the stream here. But it's I just gotta export it here so I can get it in there for everybody to hear all of the wonderfulness. Hang on, it'll be a minute. Hang on.
Winter says not.
What do you say? Yeah, it's stupid, stupid.
He says not stupid fun like Manhattan. Although I will argue that Jason Takes Manhattan is not really all that fun until the end when he actually gets to New York. The rest of it takes place on a boat, and it's, if you excuse the pun, just treading water. It's just like, okay, can we get to New York already? Can we get off the boat so that we can get Jason in Times Square? That's all we want to see. Um, although Part 8 does feature the hottest man in any Friday the 13th movie, and that's Wayne. He is the love of my life, and Wayne is like kind of scrawny. He has these like thick glasses and like long flowing locks.
So by Wayne, do you mean
And
like
I sucked a dick last night?
that's my only frame of reference for a Wayne.
precisely.
Nick still has yet to see most Hitchcock. That is true. You did put it on Nick's watch list. It didn't get picked. I got to watch P.D. Wheatstraw. I was supposed to this weekend, and unfortunately, time got away from me. Because I decided to watch 500 Days of Summer instead because it came up. There's been a random meme going around on Twitter being like the villain of the movie and then the actual villain. And, you know, somebody, of course, had to post 500 Days of Summer. The villain of the movie is Summer, but the actual villain of the movie is Tom, which is of course, 100% correct. He is a merciless dick in that movie.
I mean, yeah, but he's not a villain.
He's not a villain. He's not a villain, but neither is she. Like, neither is she.
Right.
Like, you know, she, and they both make mistakes in their relationship.
Which completely reinforces the fact that most people who make that meme don't understand it.
Well, very, very true. But I mean,
or at least don't understand the movies that they're watching.
If you break it down into the most rudimentary sense, it is at least partially true because everybody vilifies Summer in the movie. Like, how could she leave him? Why wouldn't she marry him or whatever? And it's like, look, she told him from the onset that she didn't want a relationship with him. And then he, even to the point of knocking another dude out and then angrily being like, no, we're a couple because I say we are, you know, not even letting her in on the decision of it at all, you know. And then they were just two people who were just at a different place in their lives at that point who, you know, they just, you know, they whatever. And you know, they just ended up, you know, drifting apart. You know, and that's what happens in life sometimes. That's why I love that movie so much because it's not a super clean romance or anything. You know, it is more realistic in that sense. It's kind of the way that, like with La La Land, how when La La Land, it ends with, you know, they don't get back together. They just go on with their lives in their own separate ways.
Nick, you just spoiled La La Land for anyone.
Listen, if anybody didn't see La La Land and they still wanted to, it's your own damn fault. I finally got this track queued up for everybody, so.
Are you out of control?
Yes. Wildly out of control.
Are you the man behind the mask?
Fucking hate you. Is this what tonight's show is going to be like?
I'm the man behind the mask.
I'm the man behind the mask.
And I'm out of control. Man behind the mask. He's the man behind the mask. And he's out of control. I'm the man behind the mask. I'm the man behind the mask. And I'm out of control. And he's out of control.
That is a very good point, Winners. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did agree that he is the villain of that movie. He's more the villain of that movie than Summer
Joseph
is.
Gordon-Levitt is not an authority. He just played the character.
What is he? But I would argue that he's more the villain of that movie than Summer is, who is the one that's vilified in that movie. But they are both flawed characters.
She's not vilified in the movie. She's vilified by
fans, by people that love the movie,
and also people who don't understand the movie.
We're getting a lot of Justin rage over in the chat from playing the man behind the mask. Ladies and gentlemen, one time I went out to a bar with Justin. Actually, it's happened several times now, I think. Gone out to a bar with Justin where he has then gone to the jukebox and played that song. Why? Because he's Justin. Yeah, it's probably been more than one time.
It's been, I mean, I can't speak for that, but I was there the one time where we were, where were we? Toppers?
We were at the Topper, and that was the time you were both up here, so that was a little over
Exactly.
a year ago. That was like last May. I haven't hit a year of Drop the Sugar yet, by the way, Winners. That's 3 days from now, brother. Happy 1 year to you on a hashtag Drop the Sugar, because I know you're over a year now, my friend. But 3 more days for me. 3 more days before I hit 1 year of hashtag Drop the Sugar officially. Yeah, that's right. I know you already hit it, baby. I know you already hit it. But yeah, no, he did it when he came up here, like right before everything got shut down from COVID. The first time, I love that we're now talking about COVIDs and like which shutdown is it. But, you know, he came up here and we went out for wings, and then he went, like, randomly got up, and there's a jukebox at the bar we were at, and randomly just decided to throw it on the jukebox. Man behind the mask. Gerald, thank you for stopping by. Have a great night. Winners, thank you for stopping by. Have a great night, my friend. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate all you guys that are tuning in to our live pre-roll. I really, 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 really do appreciate it. It means the absolute world to myself and the sauce. And no Justin, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll stop it.
It means
If
none
Gerald,
of this.
If Gerald is still here, I noticed that you said that you were watching Relic. I watched that over the weekend, so Gerald, you'll have to let me know what you thought of it.
Gerald sucks. I recorded with Gerald yesterday, actually. So, top 5 movies about movies is what we did. It was the topic. So, top 5 movies about movies. Lord knows when that'll get released or whatever, but stay tuned.
I'm looking forward to that one.
2 Ps on a podcatcher near you for that one. My list wasn't too terribly hard. He said he loved it. Ooh, look at that. There you go. You managed to sneak him in there before he ran away.
Right on.
Loy Sauce, do you have any wrestling talk for me or no?
No.
No, you don't. No. Hi, Heather. I love your face. Welcome.
Oh, hello, Heather.
No, Justin, so we don't have to put up with this kind of nonsense tonight.
He said that he sucked the blood from the penis and put the balls in his mouth.
None of it. It's not here. It's gone. We don't have to deal with it, guys. We don't have to deal with it at all. Isn't that wonderful?
Except when you play it on the soundboard.
I mean, I feel like I have to.
And where is the Loy Sauce?
He's right there.
He's at home washing his
He's over there.
socks.
He's over there if you're watching on the stream. He's over there. Ooh, look, I can like put my finger inside of your microphone sleeve. Ready? Oh, this is getting... Ooh. We're going to get banned. This is probably against Twitch's TOS. Oh, yes, Heather, welcome to the stream. Wrestling talk. Nope, there's no wrestling talk tonight because Justin's not here to pitch me. If I asked Loy Sauce about wrestling, he would just stare back at me blankly for 10 minutes and be like, huh? Haven't we taught you anything yet?
I could not contribute to the conversation.
No, see? He couldn't do it. I'll tell you who it's not, Christiani. Roddy Piper in They Live. Makes me so sad because I love Roddy Piper too. But God, I hate that movie. I cannot abide that movie. I'm surprised I didn't get... I did not get the amount of hatred I thought I would get from the Chuck Norris stands of the universe for my scathing attacks upon him in the last week's hashtag Canon Quarantine episode. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag Canon Quarantine will return. So make sure, if you guys aren't, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching over in the chat is part of the host or some sort, but if for some reason you're not and you want to vote in the Canon Quarantine polls to pick which Canon film we're going to watch next, that will be next week's show. We'll be doing another film in the Canon Quarantine series. And I've also got episodes coming out on Big Red 1, which is a 1980 World War II movie starring Lee Marvin and Mark Hamill, and a retrospective of Waterworld. I recorded both of those with Brad of the Cinema Guys. Waterworld, guys.
Did you already rewatch and record that?
Why? Yeah, we already recorded it. They're in the can. They just got to get edited and released. Waterworld will be 2 weeks from now. Honest to God, I really wanted to have Big Red 1 out for today, but unfortunately my weekend was too busy. I was just way too busy pushing for results in the EFG Fitness Challenge, which has been absolutely wonderful. Now I'm getting up to like 5+ miles a day whenever I go, and I've been taking days off in between. I've been doing my yoga still, which has been really great, and a lot of people are absolutely crushing it over there. So if you're one of those people that's posting regularly over in the EFG Fitness Challenge Facebook group, thank you. I really do appreciate it, and you guys are all absolutely crushing it. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
To answer Christini's question, I would have to say Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista was actually, his daughter was in my second grade class. So he would like show up to the school, and of course back then I was aware that he was a wrestler, but that didn't really mean much to second grade me. But it's just funny in retrospect. It's like, oh hey, I used to see him all the time.
God. Imagine being in second grade and seeing Dave Bautista in real life.
I know.
He's like a fucking mountain.
He exuded an energy, that's for sure. But he was from all accounts, he's a very sweet guy, and that's how I remember him from the very brief encounters I had with him. But I don't know, it's just kind of cool.
Can't argue with that. So, yeah, no wrestling talk, guys. Justin's not here, so we don't have to put up with any of his nonsense or anything.
No one fights like Eston. No one bites like Eston. No one sucks a gigantic dick like Eston.
Yeah.
I love
getting
that song.
The loy sauce question marks over in the chat. Curious loy sauce is what I call this emote. Thank you to Michelle from Poor Playback for Poor Playback. Blah, blah, blah. Too much alliteration. Poor Playback podcast for the wonderful emotes. She did those for our 5-year podiversary, whatever you want to call it, which was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. They are wonderful. I absolutely love them. I mean, she sent me another one of Justin, but I kind of really want to keep the Justin Rage Frog one. I really want to keep that one.
What did the other one look like?
It just is a normal one of Justin. It just looks more like him, but that one's modeled after the like the Rage Frog emoji.
Yeah.
So yeah, she just did that one with Justin. I kind of just like that one more.
Yeah, it's great.
So I kind of want to leave that one. I kind of want to leave that one there. I kind of want to leave it there. I kind of love it. But we've been getting a lot of people. We did a game night last Tuesday. We did a game night of Fibbage and other things from Jackbox Party Pack 3. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody that came out for that. And you guys have been crushing it, showing up for those Minecraft streams too, because I've been getting a lot of audience interaction during Minecraft streams, which has been really nice. And well, we talked about it when we were first trying to get the stream back up. I really want to try to hit partner before next year's live stream for The Cure, and I really want to have a core built up on Twitch, so that way when we go to Twitch next year and we're like, please front pages so we can raise more money for cancer, maybe they'll consider doing it.
I hope so.
I hope
we
so.
can only hold out hope.
I hope so too. Also, I don't know the exact dates. Hang on, I can find it really quick. I can find it really quick, but the Race Against Time is coming once again in August. Hosted the 6th annual Race Against Time. Let's see. The race. There it is. Race against. There it is. Okay. That is not the correct one. Okay. So it is the 8th and the 9th of August. So Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th. Our good friends from the Knicks cast, they've been part of the live stream for The Cure the last few years. But they are once again doing the Race Against Time. But this year, instead of the Alzheimer's Society of Canada, they're actually going to be supporting Trans Lifeline. Which is a peer support and crisis hotline for trans people. So they'll be supporting that through the thing, and they want to reach $2,300 is their goal this year, which would be a pretty big bump up for them, I believe, in terms of their actual goal. So I'm going to be live on the event at some point during it. I don't know 100% when, but they are good enough to have me on every single year. They sent me a symphonic disc of Chrono Cross music. I'm looking at it across my room right now, which is absolutely amazing. They're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guys, and they put on a great event every year, and they just play one of the greatest RPGs literally of all time and try to raise money for a really good cause. I'm going to get the promo from them. There's a promo. I'm going to try to have it for this week's episode. If I don't, I'll have it for next week's. But they do an amazing, amazing, amazing event every single year. And it's for a really, really good cause this year for, again, the Trans Lifeline to, help trans people that need somewhere to turn, so they call that hotline when they need to talk about any of the issues facing the trans community. So we'll definitely be supporting them. So make sure you come along and support us with them. And I don't know, I'll probably play something in solidarity with them. Last year I started playing Chrono Cross, and then my emulator wasn't working right and I hated it. And I was like, screw this. But yeah, stay tuned for more information on that. We'll get more information about that in the upcoming upcoming episodes of the show. And Heather, I don't know if Heather is still floating around over in the chat, but Heather, when is the Sunshine Summit this August? What are the dates for the Sunshine Summit? Actually, I can just go to sunshinesummit.live. I don't need her. I do need you, Heather. I love you. Don't run away.
Damn.
But I can just go to sunshinesummit.live and it'll tell me there, I'm sure. August 9th to the 13th. She typed it before the page loaded. Okay. But yeah, August 9th to the 13th. You can go to sunshinesummit.live. And there we go. You can go to sunshinesummit.live. It'll give you more information about not only what the event is all about, it's all about connections in the podcast community. Heather's the most amazing person on the planet. You've heard me say it a million times. I'll say it a million more. But she's got a ton of amazing guests lined up once again, and it's always so much fun to watch and listen along. And that's how I found Ducky. From the one in March, that's how I found Christy Cates, which is a community I love being part of now. So, she connects. Good people gravitate toward Heather, and then you can find so many other good avenues and other good people that you can connect with because of that. So make sure you check all that information out. It'll be right here on Twitch. So if you're already on Twitch, you can click on Heather's name right there in the chat. You can go over to her Twitch channel, and you can follow her if you're not already following her. Please follow her, because whenever she does stream, her streams are really, really fun and relaxing and wonderful as well. So I think that's all the plugging and all the news I can possibly try to wring out of this. Lois Sauce, are you ready to talk Inception? Blah.
I'm ready. Blah.
Yeah, so 10th anniversary of Inception, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to talk about this one. I'm really, really excited to talk about this one, mostly because Justin's not here, and that means we can do whatever we want, Lois Sauce. We don't have Justin to crack the whip on us. Are you excited?
Very much so.
I know. But ladies and gentlemen, everybody over there in the stream, we're going to get off, and we're going to go record the main episode of the show.
All.
Thank you so much for once again taking a little bit of your time on a Monday to stop by and to hang out and to just be here. We absolutely love you. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you
at the movies.